What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're doing some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated. 24 members, where did you all come from? Thank you so much. I'm just having a blast lately posting these videos. Your love and support towards me is just absolutely blowing me away. So thank you so much. Keep those comments coming, keep liking the videos, and I will keep it coming too. And with that being said, let's get into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Lost My Mind in LA. Am I the arsehole for telling my wife it's not cute for her to encourage our teenage daughter to expect her boyfriend to pay for everything in their relationship? Wife and I have been married 18 years. We have our 16-year-old daughter who has been dating a slightly shy/awkward young man for around 3 to 4 months now. He seems very nervous around my daughter and has admitted in passing comment here and there to my wife and I that he can't believe she agreed to date him and he thinks she's way out of his league. He seems very respectful but shy. My wife is usually an independent, awesome woman and her ideals align closely with mine, particularly in terms of feminism and equality. We have both striven to raise our daughter to be as independent and capable as possible. Since my daughter has been dating this kid, my wife has changed considerably and has given our daughter advice that has left me with raised eyebrows more than once. Some of the advice I've heard my wife give is, "Oh, it's cute for boys to pay for everything, especially in your first relationship." Or, "Oh honey, don't worry about that, he can pay for you. If he really liked you, he would," and similar. I've tried to balance this out by telling my daughter straight away, two people in a partnership should be contributing equally, and my personal favourite, if someone asks if they can take you out to dinner, it's reasonable to expect them to pay, but if someone asks you to grab dinner with them, it's reasonable to split the payment. I figured that would be an easy way for a young person to understand the difference. However, I've noticed my daughter becoming more and more entitled with her boyfriend's money. They haven't been anywhere obviously since we're home, but the way she talks about him, "Oh, I just asked him to pay for X, etc. leaves a bad taste in my mouth. She also flippantly bragged/mentioned that she gets him to buy gift cards for her, etc. by mentioning her mother's advice, i.e. if you really like me, you'll pay for X. I spoke with my wife privately and told her my concerns. She insists it's a rite of passage for girls and it's cute that she should feel like a guy is completely spoiling her. I told her it's not cute for her to be thinking it's acceptable to view relationships as personal ATMs, and my wife became very angry with me and now is calling me an arsehole with a lot of hostility. And straight away I found a comment which sums up my thoughts completely. It's not cute, you're not the arsehole, your wife is the arsehole, your daughter is becoming the arsehole. The boy also needs some guidance, but that probably shouldn't come from you. Who thinks that's a rite of passage? Oh, it just blows my mind that people still think this way, you know. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for spoiling on a date and paying for a date and all that, but it's my choice. If someone would expect that, I wouldn't be happy about it, you know. I love doing that kind of thing as a surprise or just to treat someone, but to be expected from me, I wouldn't be happy in that situation. What are your guys' thoughts on the situation? Is the OP the arsehole or not? Or are both the arseholes? I had some feedback on one of the last videos, so I've added everyone's the arsehole too. Vote in the top right hand corner. Our next story is from Alarming Can 8. Am I the arsehole for not wanting my dying grandpa to give $6,000 away we need as a family to a Buddhist priest for a one-time prayer for him after he dies? My grandpa is nearing the end of his life, he has maybe a year or more, and his dying wish is to have his remains flown to Japan and buried at a temple there. We have made arrangements for this to happen, although COVID-19 has made it much more difficult and expensive. Just now I learned he miraculously found $10,000 and is planning on giving $6,000 to one specific priest to pray for him after he dies. As a family we were running a business my grandfather himself had started. My mum, my aunt, grandfather and myself are all dependent on this business for a living and times are hard. As with many people around the world, we are struggling financially. Our work truck that we rely for transportation broke down today, reeks of gas, has for the past year. I have to drive with the windows down when we drive and is in the shop currently. I suggested we could really use that money he wants to give to one specific person for a one-time after death prayer to buy a new work vehicle. My mum and aunt are saying I should take the penalty and draw from my retirement early. I'm 29 and I've been saving for 4 years so far to buy another truck, and that I'm the arsehole for suggesting it. Where I'm saying we should try to convince Grandpa to reconsider giving away that money to the priest for a one-time prayer, which he most likely won't do and would have to be forced to do. So let me get this straight. Your grandpa started this business that you're all working for, so has provided for you for all this time, yet you're asking more from him, taking away a dying wish for $6,000. Really, man? I mean, come on. In my opinion, arsehole, but I know people are struggling and financial times are hard, so it can make you think differently, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to say arsehole in this situation. What do you guys make of this story? Do you think OP is the arsehole? Let me know by voting in the top right hand corner. Our next story is from No More Courtship. Am I the arsehole for telling my parents to stop hooking me up with single girls from their church? Am I the arsehole for not wanting to get married? The last year and a half has been hard for me, to say the least. Last March, my brilliant and hilarious and beautiful girlfriend Natalie suddenly passed away. Everyone always gave a shit about us because of politics. We met in college when we were poli-sci majors. She is very liberal, think AOC, and I'm pretty conservative. We actually met because we were serving as treasurers for our school's college Democrats and Young Republicans clubs, respectively, and our groups would get together for drinks or bowling or laser tag once a month. Well, Natalie and I bonded over a lot of shared interests, and we hit it off. Even if we didn't see eye to eye on many issues, debating her was stimulating and formed the cornerstone of our relationship. We've had debates that went on until dawn. We just bounced off each other. She liked to joke that we were drift compatible. I wanted to marry this woman, but she passed away before we got the chance to talk about marriage. I'm in therapy, and I'm working through not having her in my life anymore, but it's been rough. Then Rona happened, and I got laid off. So I had to move back in with my parents and figure out what I'm supposed to do now. My parents mean well, but they got married really young and more conservative and religious than me. They've been trying to set me up on dates with single girls from their church since I moved back home, but I don't want to date these girls. No offense to them, but it's a small town in the American breadbasket. They don't share the same interests as me, and it feels like their only goal in life is to be a good Christian wife and produce a lot of babies. Trying to talk to them about current events is excruciating for me. The girls my parents try to set me up with take everything they read on Facebook or hear from Fox News for face value. It makes me miss Natalie and our debates more. My parents mean well. I know they want me to find a nice girl and settle down with her, but not like this. They're nothing like Natalie and never will be. I miss her, even if my folks didn't like her ideas. But when I told them the other night that I wanted them to stop setting me up on dates with these girls, they freaked out and told me that I needed to consider settling down since I just turned 30. They're good girls from great families. I know that, and my parents like them more than they like Natalie, but she was my one and only. I don't think it's fair for anyone when I still love her. They're even more angry at me because I told them I just don't see myself getting married anytime soon. But like I said, Natalie was my soulmate, and I just can't see myself being with anyone else but her. Yet, they are insisting that I need to find a woman and settle down and give them grandchildren. Edit, we're seriously close to talking about marriage, but around the time she died, it was more like how funny it would be if the bridal party wore blue and the groomsmen wore red, because the bride is a Democrat and the groom is a Republican / Romeo and Juliet deal. Fuck, I wish we got to do that. Natalie thought it was hilarious. Well, first we gotta say, if you ever do get to listen to this, we're extremely sorry for your loss. And your parents need to stop meddling in your grief, man. It's not fair that they're putting this on you when you're already going through so much in your own head. And you're 30 years old, man. It doesn't matter if you turn 70 and you're still single. If you're happy, what does it matter, you know? You don't need to live to their ideals. Live your own life, enjoy your life. As long as you're happy, what does it matter? Let me know what you guys think. OP the arsehole or not? Vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story comes from Nervous Royal 6. Am I the arsehole for telling my fiancée I wasn't excited about having the wedding? Okay, so I feel like the title might automatically put me in the arsehole category, but let me explain. I proposed to my fiancée in November, and we have planned for a wedding in June. From the beginning, I've explained to my fiancée that I have no desire in the wedding planning. I've told her that I don't care about the date, the colours, who attends, just give me the final number and I will pay it. Well, since then my fiancé has been doing all of the planning, and whenever any of my friends ask me about any details, I just tell them to ask my fiancée, the bride, because she's the one planning everything. Disclaimer, this is not a large wedding. At the most this is like 45 people, so nothing she can't handle. This has not been a big deal for our relationship until a few days ago when we were drinking together. I had mentioned to her that my friend, who is marrying us, called me to ask questions about the wedding, and I told him to just talk to my fiancée. She asked me questions like, well, was he asking about when to meet? Was he asking about what we were doing for our dinner? All that stuff, and I snapped. This is your job, babe. Don't ask me what he's asking for. Just call him. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because I was very clear from the beginning that I was not interested in the planning. But she started crying, and then mentioned that I told her I was not excited to marry her. Which is true. This was a few weeks ago I mentioned this. I did say I was not excited, but that was mostly towards the planning part. But now she would not stop crying. I know she browses their sub, so I wanted to get others' opinions. Holy shit, man. You're treating her like it's her job to do this. I'm going to read a comment which I found below from Princess Unplug. You're the arsehole. What the fucking fuck? This is your job. Dude, this wedding is between both of you. This is not her fucking job. You didn't pay her to do it. She did it because she wants to. You don't want to get involved? Well, fucking fine if she's fine with it. But telling your friend to talk to her like she's some kind of wedding planner or some shit and then snapping because she's asking you a question. Say it with me. A fucking hole. Go apologise to her. She's doing a lot for you and you can't even treat her right. Well, I think I know where the voting is going to go with this one. So in the top right hand corner, if you wouldn't mind just voting up there. Our next story is from Snowglobe Snot. Am I the arsehole for telling my friend he's choosing to be poor? I'm hoping it's not as harsh as the title sounds. To make a very long backstory short, a few of my friends and I grew up in extreme poverty. It's almost the only reason we're friends these days, bonding over bad history. But we're adults now, and without sounding narcissistic, I'm the most financially wise person in the group. This kind of led to them looking at me differently, but one in particular comes to me for financial advice a lot, except every time he does, it ends up with him catching an attitude. I taught him how to build his credit and budget and how he can move out securely, etc. He's not on minimum wage, but goes half in on bills. He'll say he doesn't make enough to put any in savings. He does, I've helped him budget, and that's your privilege talking. He's desperate to move out, but when I've given him advice on saving up for 3 months rent and utilities, he needs a new phone first, some clothes first, and a new Xbox before he can start saving. His phone works, but I told him if he wants a new phone, he could at least go for a $400 one, instead of a $1,100 one, when he's just going to use the exact same apps on either. He also has an old Xbox, but it's social, and being social is detrimental for mental health. It's a good thing. This happens a lot. He gets very defensive and standoffish, and nobody asks your opinion on if I should buy something. And finally, he had more or less whined about how much he needed this stimulus check and sent me screenshots of his bank account overdrawn. Then not 20 minutes later, posted screenshots of various decor and LED lights and what else I should get for my bedroom, and spent all of it on Misc decor. A few days ago he told me he was going to quit his job, the third one this year, because he doesn't like it and it's bad for his mental health to stay, and asked me for advice again. I told him I wasn't comfortable talking about finances with him anymore because he never takes my advice anyway, and he gets mean. He got angry and said, poor people deserve luxuries too, OP. So I said, with all due respect dude, there's a difference between being poor and choosing poverty. Now he and a few of our mutual friends are saying I'm a class traitor and a right-wing capitalist, and I'm becoming a bootlicker. I'm not really apologetic for saying they're choosing to be poor. They're waiting for the system to change, instead of learning it and taking advantage of it. I also don't know if I'm being too passive or inconsiderate, but they asked. Am I the arsehole? Whilst I think the phrase choosing poverty was probably a bit strong in this case, I do think that you're not the arsehole simply because you were giving them financial advice for free. You are helping them budget for free. If they weren't taking that advice, that's their own issue. But I think the phrase itself, choosing poverty, is a bit strong. What do you guys think of this situation? Have you got any friends in the similar position? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. As always guys, thank you for being here. If you did enjoy, there's another video on your screen right now. And don't forget to click that like, subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Thank you for being here. Much love to you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now.